with confusion, fear, and suffering. People had lost their way, power ruled over kindness, and truth was often buried under lies. It was in such a time that a child was born, not in a palace, not among kings, but in the most humble place you can imagine, a stable. From the very beginning, his life was different. While others chased wealth and status, Jesus carried something far more powerful: peace. As he grew, people noticed something unusual about him. His words had a strange power, not the power to control, but the power to awaken. Simple stories, stories about seeds, about farmers, about lost sheep. But hidden inside those stories were truths so deep that they could change a person's entire life. One day, Jesus stood before a crowd of people, poor, broken, tired souls, and he said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." People were confused. How could the poor be blessed? How could the weak be strong? But that was Jesus. He didn't see people the way the world did. Where the world saw failure, he saw potential. Where the world saw sin, he saw someone worth saving. There was a man once, rejected by society. People avoided him. They called him unclean. No one dared to go near him. But Jesus did. He walked right up to him. The crowd held their breath. And then, Jesus touched him. That one moment changed everything. Not just for that man, but for everyone watching. Because Jesus wasn't just healing bodies. He was healing hearts. He showed the world that love is stronger than fear. One night, Jesus and his disciples were crossing a lake. Suddenly, a violent storm arose. The waves crashed against the boat. The wind roared like it wanted to swallow them alive. The disciples were terrified, but Jesus was sleeping. Panicking, they woke him up and cried, "Master, we are going to die." Jesus stood up, looked at the storm, and simply said, "Peace, be still." And just like that, the storm stopped. The wind became silent. The waves calmed down. Everything became still. Then Jesus looked at them and asked, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" That moment wasn't just about calming a storm outside. It was about calming the storm within. Jesus taught something that was almost impossible for people to accept. He said, "Love your enemies." Think about that. Not just love your friends. Not just love those who treat you well. Love even those who hurt you. Because, according to Jesus, true strength is not in revenge, but in forgiveness. He believed that hatred only creates more darkness, but love creates light. As his message spread, not everyone was happy. Those in power felt threatened. They didn't understand him, or maybe they did, and that scared them. So they decided to silence him. Jesus was arrested, mocked, beaten, and finally, sentenced to death. Even in his final moments, hanging on the cross, in unbearable pain, Jesus did something that no one expected. He looked at the very people who were killing him, and said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Think about that. In a moment where most people would feel anger, hate, or revenge, Jesus chose forgiveness. That was his greatest message. Jesus' body was placed in a tomb. For a moment, it felt like everything had ended. But his story didn't end there, because what he started could never be buried. His teachings lived on, in the hearts of those who believed, in the actions of those who chose love over hate, in every person who forgives instead of taking revenge. The story of Jesus is not just about miracles. It's about transformation. It's about becoming a better human being. It's about understanding that real power is not in control, but in compassion. That real victory is not in winning, but in loving. So whenever life feels heavy, whenever you feel lost, whenever anger starts to take over, remember this. You always have a choice to hate, or a choice to love, a choice to judge, or a choice to forgive. And in that choice lies the power to change everything.